Merhabalar dostlarım. Kitaplar hakkında konuşalım. Let's discuss books. Okay, so I'm going to read 1,000 books since this is the Road to 1,000 Books video. These are the last 3 books I've read. I haven't been able to finish books. I have been doing a lot of reading, but I haven't been able to finish books because of the fact that all the books I'm reading are like the size of my leg, right? Bajak, they're like my leg, very big. So I can't finish them right away and I can't share them with you. But these books were short, so I can share these with you. Let's start with this one. So Death Benefits. This book is basically about losing a parent and how that can impact your life. Like, so a lot of people when they get older, obviously they're going to lose one of their parents, and things change. And she particularly focused on the kind of relationships where people had dysfunctional parents and how that could result in like a personality change for the person who lost the parent, right? Like there's like stories of people who their whole entire identity was to take care of their mother or their father, and when their mother or father died, and all of a sudden they didn't have a person to take care of anymore. Some people would pursue a career that they didn't like, but that their parents liked, and then when their parents died, all of a sudden, well, they were free to pursue a career that was different than that, right? They found themselves in their late 40s or 50s pursuing music or acting or one of the arts that traditionally aren't approved of, at least in the culture. So that's what this book is about. I will say she does a little bit too much talking about herself sometimes, but you know, you can bear with it because she stops it soon. Yeah, it was a fun book, and if you're interested in the subject, I would recommend reading this book. It's a good book. Book number 2, The Writing Life. Okay, this book, actually, from my understanding, when I finished this book, there wasn't a general idea in the book. It's just basically her recounting her days of writing, and she writes really well. Like, that's just the gist of the book. This is like the movies of books, you could say. It's like a prose book, and it's not meant to be educational, it's meant to be aesthetic. It's like a painting almost, and you can get some ideas in here, sure. Like, sure, of course there's going to be ideas in here, but the book wasn't meant to give ideas, it was just meant to communicate some of the experiences of writing. And it's a short book, it's a fun book. I don't know, I like writing, so I wanted to read this, and for that reason I read that book. It was a good book, I would recommend it to people, but like if you're looking for like a book about the life of writing and that's like really full of a lot of big original ideas, that's not the book. That's just a fun book to read. In fact, I read that book usually when I was tired. The last book, super cool book, the 12 Caesars. 12 Caesars. This book is great. Like, of course, people have said this on Instagram to me that this is a historian of a Caesar himself. He was one of the approved historians by Caesar. I think the same is true for Livy. So, of course, when you have these Roman historians, you're going to have concerns about the validity of what they're saying, especially because a lot of the methods we use in history weren't around back then. This is apparently the first biography ever written. It's written a little bit weird for a biography. Like what he'll do, which I think is really cool actually, is he'll talk about all the pros of a person's character, and he'll jump to the cons. But like, it'll be like 15 pages of he's good at this, good at this, good at this, and he'll jump to like 15 pages of cons. And sometimes they don't even make sense. Like, he talked about how Caligula, if I'm saying his name right, was really like pro free speech, and he would say like, oh, the worst if the worst someone does to me is speak poorly about me, then let it just be that, right? But then like when he talks about the cons of the same exact person, the guy's like jailing people and killing people for speaking poorly about him. So that's a little bit weird. I do think that style of writing though would be fine for other biographies, where if you like someone looked at all the pros of a person and then just dumped all the cons on you. It really helps you like read, like, because you get this front note of like, oh yeah, this person's really good, and then you hear all these bad things and you're like, wow, I should have waited to hear the cons, because like I shouldn't have thought this person was good. What's going on here, right? It helps you readjust how you think about people's characters, and I thought that was super cool. On top of that, since it's all about Caesars, it's interesting to see how people can do different things in similar situations or similar positions, right? They all have these same political roles of leadership, and they all make very radically different choices. Some of them are very giving with their wealth. Some of them are not very giving with their wealth. Some of them, when they got into power, were so into spending that they just raised taxes and stole things. Some of them were famous for... There was actually one Caesar who killed himself after 90 days of being a Caesar because there was a possible threat of civil war, and he didn't want Roman citizens to die for some petty civil war for power. So he just decided to kill himself, and then his opponent became the Caesar, and his opponent then proceeded to fuck everything up. But yeah, this is a fun book to read, and I strongly recommend it. Not if you're into Roman history, but also if you want to read biographies. I wouldn't sleep on this. This is a good book. So these are the 3 books that I've read, and I think that puts me at 7 out of 1,000, almost there. With that said, ciao.